You're making a dangerous mistake right now. You think that just because you're in a storm, you're stuck. You think just because the thunder is loud and the waves are rising, that God has left you. You believe the lie that this pain will last forever. But listen to me, don't scroll. Don't click away. Because this may be the most important message you'll hear all year. I've been where you are. I've stared at the ceiling with tears rolling down my face, wondering, God, are you even there? I've had moments where I felt abandoned, betrayed by life, overwhelmed by fear. But let me tell you what I've learned. God is greater than the storm. And if you stay with me until the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to trust in the impossible and watch the miracle unfold before your very eyes. Because God doesn't just calm storms, He uses them to awaken the miracle inside of you. So I need you to do one thing. Listen with your spirit wide open. Because what I'm about to share with you isn't fluff. It's truth. It's fire. And it could shift everything in your life, if you let it. Let's dive deep, right now. Let me be real with you. Storms don't care about your timing. They don't wait for you to be ready. They don't knock on the door politely before barging in. They crash into your life uninvited, unannounced, and unapologetic. And if you've been through one, or maybe you're right in the middle of one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. One moment everything feels steady. The next, your whole world is spinning. Everything you trusted feels like it's falling apart. The people you leaned on disappear. The plans you carefully laid out get scattered like ashes in the wind. And in that chaos, that confusion, you start to wonder, where is God? I remember asking the very question. I had just gone through something I didn't see coming. A loss so deep, a betrayal so sharp, I didn't even have the words to pray. I sat in silence, numb, trying to understand why God would allow this. Have you ever felt that? Like you've done your best, you've prayed, you've believed, and still, the storm comes. It hits your heart, your family, your finances, your faith, and it hits hard. It's in these moments that your endurance is tested. Your faith gets exposed. The masks come off. The real you shows up. Jesus never sugarcoated life. He never promised that following Him would be storm-free. In fact, in John 16:33, He tells us straight up, in this world you will have trouble. But take heart. I have overcome the world. Did you catch that? He didn't say you might have trouble. He said you will. Trouble is not optional. Storms are not optional. But neither is His victory. That's the part most people skip. Yes, the storm is coming, but Jesus has already overcome the very thing trying to destroy you. That's not a cliche. That's a lifeline. You see, the storm doesn't mean God has abandoned you. I need you to hear that. Just because you're in the middle of the chaos doesn't mean God has walked away. Sometimes the storm is where He reveals Himself the most. Sometimes the storm is the setup for your next level. Psalm 34:19 says, "Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all." That verse doesn't deny the pain. It doesn't pretend the righteous don't suffer. It acknowledges the afflictions, but it emphasizes the deliverance. And deliverance always comes from a place of need. No one gets delivered from comfort. You get delivered from crisis. Maybe your storm is emotional. Maybe you're battling anxiety, depression, rejection, things you don't even talk about. Or maybe it's spiritual. Maybe you've been feeling distant from God, dry in your soul, disconnected from your purpose. Or it could be physical. sickness in your body, problems in your finances, chaos in your home. Whatever form your storm takes, the truth is the same. God is not using the storm to punish you. He's using it to deepen something inside of you. I want you to shift your perspective. Stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, God, what are you trying to do in me? Because the storm isn't about what's around you. It's about what's happening within you. It's about refining you, strengthening you, stripping away what was fake and awakening what is real. In my own life, the greatest spiritual breakthroughs didn't come on the mountaintop. They came in the valley. They came in the dark. They came in the storm. That's where I discovered the voice of God. That's where I found unshakable peace. Not because the wind stopped blowing, but because I stopped bowing to it. You're not going to drown in this. You're not going to be destroyed. You may feel shaken, but you are not abandoned. God hasn't left you. He's drawing closer than ever before. Sometimes He doesn't calm the storm outside because He's calming the storm inside. You may not understand what's happening now, but trust me, you will. Every storm reveals the weakness of what you've built your life on. And if it wasn't built on Him, it won't last. But if He is your anchor, you will endure. You will overcome. So take a breath. Don't run from this moment. Don't numb yourself. Don't fake strength. Get honest. Get raw. Cry if you need to. But don't you dare give up. Because even now, even in the thick of the storm, God is moving. But what if I told you that the storm doesn't shake God the way it shakes you? What if the thunder that terrifies you only reminds Him of His authority? You have to hear this. God is not panicked by your storm. He's not pacing heaven, wringing His hands, trying to come up with a plan B. No. He's enthroned, sovereign, in full command of what looks chaotic to you. And if you could just lift your eyes above the crashing waves, you would see Him, not shaken, not nervous, but seated in complete authority. The same God who breathed stars into existence is still Lord over the thunder, the rain, and the fire you're walking through right now. The storm you're facing may have surprised you, but it didn't surprise Him. He saw it coming. He allowed it, not to break you, but to reveal Himself in a way you've never known before. Remember the story in Mark 4:39? The disciples are in the boat. A violent storm rises. Water is pouring in. These are seasoned fishermen, and even they are panicking. But Jesus, He's asleep. Not because He doesn't care, but because He's not afraid. And when they wake Him, desperate, terrified, He stands up, stretches out His hand, and says the words that echo through every age. Peace, be still. And just like that, the wind obeys. The waves settle. The storm bows to His voice. This is the God you serve. The one who commands nature itself, and it listens. What's impossible for you is nothing for Him. Psalm 29:10 says, "The Lord sits enthroned over the flood. The Lord is enthroned as King forever." He's not pacing through the flood. He's enthroned over it. That word enthroned isn't just poetic. It's powerful. It means He's seated in power, not reacting, reigning. I need you to understand that just because the storm feels big doesn't mean God is small. In fact, the storm often exposes just how little control we really have, and how much control He's always had. You and I, we try to fix things, figure things out, force solutions. But there are storms you can't think your way out of. Storms that will only bow to the one who created the sea itself. And here's what I've learned. Your peace won't come from figuring it all out. It will come from fixing your eyes on the one who already has it figured out. You don't need all the answers. You need to know who's in the boat with you. God doesn't need to remove the storm to prove He's powerful. Sometimes He shows His power by walking with you right through it. There have been moments in my life where I expected God to snap His fingers and change everything in an instant. But what He did instead was change me. And then He gave me peace that made no sense. That's what Philippians 4:7 calls peace that surpasses all understanding. It's not logical. It's supernatural. And it comes when you remember this. Your God is not limited by what limits you. So right now, in the middle of everything that feels out of control, lean into the one who is never out of control. He hasn't left His throne, and He's not about to start now. He still says, "Peace, be still." Not just to the waves, but to your soul. If God truly commands the winds, then what happens when He speaks into the impossible? And what if what feels hopeless is actually holy ground for your breakthrough? Let me ask you something real. What do you do when it looks like there's no way out? When every door is closed, every prayer feels unanswered, and the situation seems absolutely hopeless? What do you do when the logical thing is to give up, but something in your spirit says, keep believing? That's what real faith looks like. Not trusting God when everything makes sense, but trusting Him when nothing makes sense at all. I've been there. I know what it feels like to stand in front of a wall, believing for a door. To pray and wait. Pray and hear silence. Wait some more and feel the pressure rising. The enemy starts whispering, "It's too late. God's not coming. You're wasting your time." But let me tell you, those are the exact moments where faith becomes fire. Because real faith doesn't need proof. Real faith trusts God's character when the outcome isn't visible. Proverbs 3:5-6 tells us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight." That verse hits different when you're in the middle of the unknown. It's not about partial trust. It says, with all your heart. That means even the part of you that's scared. Even the part that's tired. Even the part that's unsure. That's where trust begins, when control ends. I know you want answers. I know you want clarity. But sometimes, God's greatest work is done in the mystery. And let me say this loud. Just because it's impossible for you doesn't mean it's impossible for God. Luke 1:37 says it plain and powerful. For nothing will be impossible with God. That includes your situation. That includes your pain. That includes the very thing you think is too far gone. The reason God allows impossible circumstances is because they force you to let go of your pride. They crush your illusions of control. They drive you to your knees, where miracles are born. I've had times where everything in me wanted to quit. But God didn't need me to understand. He needed me to obey. And as I trusted Him, even with trembling hands, He began moving in ways I never saw coming. Listen, God doesn't operate on your timeline. He's not bound by human logic. He's not waiting for things to look possible before He moves. He often waits until it's completely impossible, so that when He does it, no one can get the credit but Him. That's how He gets the glory. So, if it feels like you're backed into a corner, don't lose hope. That's exactly where God does His best work. Miracles don't come to those who have it all figured out. They come to those who stand in the dark and still say, "God, I trust you." Keep standing. Keep praying. Keep believing. Because even now, God is setting the stage to turn your impossible into a testimony. You've trusted. You believed. But now, the storm is whispering fear. So here's the question. Will you bow to the storm or walk on water with Jesus? Let's be honest. Fear is loud. It screams worst-case scenarios. It plays the same loop in your mind. What if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What if this never gets better? Fear tries to paralyze you. Tries to make you believe that the storm is stronger than your Savior. But here's the truth you need to plant deep in your spirit. Fear may knock, but you don't have to open the door. You see, faith is not the absence of fear. It's choosing to obey God in spite of it. It's not about waiting until you feel confident. Faith is a decision. A raw, powerful choice to say, God, I don't know how this ends, but I know you're in it. That kind of faith breaks chains. That kind of faith makes heaven move. 2 Timothy 1:7 declares, For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. If fear didn't come from God, why are you letting it live in your mind? Why are you entertaining the very thing that's trying to destroy your peace? You've got to kick it out. Replace the fear with truth. Because you weren't made to cower, you were made to conquer. When you surrender your fear, what you're really doing is handing control back to God. You're saying, I trust you more than I trust my emotions. And as that surrender deepens, something supernatural happens. Peace begins to grow. Not because the storm stopped, but because you're no longer being ruled by it. Isaiah 41:10 gives us this promise straight from the mouth of God. Do not fear, for I am with you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. He's not asking you to walk through this storm alone. He's walking right beside you. At every step you take in faith, He's holding you, strengthening you, guiding you. In my own life, I've had to surrender fear over and over. Not just once. Sometimes daily, hourly. But every time I did, I felt the weight lift. Fear makes your world small. Faith opens it up. Fear locks you in the prison of what if. Faith launches you into the freedom of even if. Even if it doesn't make sense, God is still good. Even if I don't feel it, He's still faithful. So, today, choose to walk by faith. Step out of the storm mindset. Speak life. Speak promise. Declare victory even before you see it. Because walking by faith doesn't just change your situation, it transforms you. And once you've walked with God through the storm, you'll never be the same again. The fear has lifted. The surrender is real. Now open your eyes because you're about to see the miracle unfold. Miracles don't always explode into your life like lightning. Sometimes they creep in slowly like the rising sun, inch by inch, moment by moment. You pray and nothing happens. You fast and the door stays shut. But beneath the surface, where you can't see, God is already moving. He's aligning people, shifting atmospheres, changing circumstances. You think He's late, but He's never late. He's always right on time. You've got to understand something. Miracles are often processes, not events. Yes, there are moments when God moves instantly. But more often than not, He unfolds His power gradually. Why? Because while you're waiting on the miracle, He's building your character. He's strengthening your faith. He's shaping you into someone who can handle the blessing when it finally arrives. Think back to Exodus 14:21. The Israelites were trapped between the Red Sea and Pharaoh's army. It looked like the end. But it says, Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and all that night the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind and turned it into dry land. Did you catch that? All that night. The miracle wasn't instant. It was progressive. God was working while they were panicking. And He's doing the same for you. Here's what I want you to grasp. Your obedience is the trigger that sets the miracle in motion. When the people took that step toward the sea, before it parted, that was the moment heaven responded. You don't get to see the waters move until you move in faith. Hebrews 11:1 says, Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is walking when there's no sign. Faith is worshiping when the answer hasn't come. Faith is saying, God, I trust you, while you're still in the waiting room. I remember a time when everything in my life felt stuck. I had prayed, I had obeyed, but nothing seemed to shift. I almost gave up. But instead of quitting, I chose to obey again. I gave, I forgave, I showed up, I kept believing. And then, quietly, unexpectedly, the miracle began to unfold. One door opened, then another. The blessing came, not in one big moment, but in a series of divine alignments that only God could orchestrate. Looking back, I realized something. The delay wasn't denial. It was preparation. Some of you are in that space right now. You're standing at the water's edge. You're tired. You're frustrated. You're wondering if God even hears you. But let me speak this over your spirit. Keep stepping forward. Keep trusting. Your obedience is building something eternal. The breakthrough is already in motion. And when that miracle finally shows up, you won't just walk into a new season. You'll walk in with a deeper confidence in God. A stronger testimony. A heart that has been tested and proven faithful. Miracles don't just change your situation. They change you. They open your eyes to see God not just as your deliverer, but as your sustainer, your defender, your father. So don't give up before the miracle unfolds. It's already on the way. Keep walking. Keep worshiping. Because the God who parts seas is still parting them, one faithful step at a time. The sea has parted. You've stepped forward. But God doesn't just lead you through. He brings you out in power. Let me show you what victory after the storm really looks like. When the storm finally breaks and the sky's clear, something happens inside of you. You realize you survived. But more than that, you've changed. You're not the same person who entered the storm. You've been refined, toughened, humbled, strengthened. You've got a depth in your soul now that wasn't there before. And now, it's time to walk, not just in relief, but in victory. Living in victory isn't about having a perfect life. It's about having an anchored faith. It's about waking up every day knowing that if God brought you through that storm, there's nothing He can't handle next. It's not about the absence of battles. It's about confidence in the one who never loses. That's what real victory is. Confidence in the presence of God no matter what life throws your way. Romans 8:28 says, And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love Him. Not some things. All things. That includes the pain, the loss, the confusion, the betrayal. Every tear you cried, every night you questioned your worth, every storm that tried to drown you, it all gets recycled into purpose. That's how powerful your God is. He doesn't waste anything. You need to know this. The storm didn't break you. It built you. God took what the enemy meant for evil and turned it into a weapon in your hands. Your pain has now become your testimony. And that testimony has power. Not just for you, but for others. Because someone out there needs to know that survival is possible. That joy comes again. That peace returns. That miracles still happen. Psalm 66:12 says, "We went through fire and water, but you brought us to a place of abundance." That verse isn't poetic, it's prophetic. The fire didn't consume you. The water didn't drown you. God brought you through. And not just into survival, into abundance. That's your promise. That's your inheritance. But don't just walk into victory casually. Walk boldly. Carry the lessons. Carry the scars. Let them be proof of what God has done. Let your life preach louder than any sermon. When people see you, they should see someone who's been through hell and came out with heaven in their eyes. Someone who should have given up, but didn't. Someone who still believes, still loves, still worships. I've lived this. I've come out of storms with nothing but God to hold on to. And I've watched Him rebuild what I thought was lost forever. The enemy wanted to destroy me, but God used it to develop me. And now, I walk in a victory that can't be shaken, because it wasn't given by man. It was forged in the fire. This is your season to live in that same victory. To no longer flinch when storms rise. To stop questioning your worth when life gets hard. To walk with authority, not because of who you are, but because of who walks with you. So rise up. Stand tall. You made it. You've seen His power. You've tasted His faithfulness. Now, live like it. Because you're not just a survivor of the storm. You are a living, breathing miracle that the storm couldn't break. If you've made it this far, I believe you're not here by accident. You didn't just survive a storm, you were refined by it. And right now, God isn't just whispering peace over you, He's awakening something new inside you. So don't just listen to this next part. Pray it with me. Out loud. With fire. This is your moment to release, to receive, and to rise. Let's pray. God, I surrender this storm to you. I lay down the weight, the fear, the tears. You know what I've been through. Nothing is hidden from you. I give you the things I can't fix, the pain I don't understand, the questions, the silence, the struggle. I give it all to you. I refuse to carry what you've already conquered. Right now, I release the storm into your hands. Say it with me. I give you this storm, God. Take over. Take all of it. God, you are greater than every storm. You sit enthroned above the chaos. You are not moved by what moves me. You speak and the winds obey. You command peace and it comes. You are still Lord, still sovereign, still powerful, no matter how I feel. Say it out loud. You are greater, God. Greater than I fear. Greater than the storm. I declare that you are in control, even when everything else is not. My storm may be big, but my God is bigger. I choose to believe you, even when I don't see the answer. Even when it looks impossible, I will believe in the God who does the impossible. I activate my faith right now. I say yes to what I don't understand. I walk by faith, not by sight. I speak life, even in the waiting. Say this with me. God, I trust you, even when I don't see the way. Because you are already moving behind the scenes. You are the waymaker. And I believe you're making a way for me. I break agreement with fear. I silence every lie that says I'm not going to make it. I reject the anxiety, the panic, the sleepless nights. God, I invite your peace to take over my mind. Say it boldly. I receive your peace, God. I choose faith over fear. I receive your spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. Even if the storm is still raging, I am still standing. God, I surrender my timeline. I lay down my expectations and my rush for results. Your timing is perfect, and I trust you with the process. Say it with me. God, I align my heart with your timing. No more striving. No more frustration. Just faith. Just trust. Just rest in your plan. You are never late, and I am right on time in you. I am not who I was before the storm. I am stronger. I am wiser. I am closer to you. You've refined me. You've called me, and I will not go back. Say it like you believe it. I am victorious. I'm chosen. I'm unshaken. No more shame. No more doubt. I am a living testimony. I wear the scars, but I carry your glory. I walk forward as more than a conqueror. So now, God, I receive your blessing. Pour out miracles I didn't expect. Open doors I didn't knock on. Release strength I didn't know I had. Say it with me. I receive divine blessing and supernatural breakthrough. Fill me with faith that shakes mountains. Fill me with peace that drowns storms. I step into this next season with boldness, because you are greater than the storm, and the miracle is already unfolding. In Jesus' mighty name, Amen. Wait, don't scroll just yet, because what God just started in you through that prayer, it's not finished. There is still something He's about to reveal, and you don't want to miss the moment where your faith unlocks someone else's miracle. If God is speaking to you through this message, then this is more than a video. This is a divine invitation. You have the power to take what you just received and turn it into a river that floods someone else's storm with hope. Your gift, whether through a super thanks, membership, or PayPal, is not charity. It is seed sown into spiritual ground. And God says in 2 Corinthians 9:10, I supply seed to the sower and bread for food, and I will increase and enlarge your harvest. I hear this in the Spirit. You have trusted me in your storm. Now trust me with your seed. Just like God used the widow's oil to release overflow, He will multiply what you give into an unstoppable wave of miracles, deliverance, and salvation. This isn't just generosity. It's warfare. It's light piercing darkness. It's the gospel moving forward. So I dare you, give boldly, give prophetically, and watch what God does in return. So now, the link is in the description. Step into the flow. If this video stirred something deep inside you, then click that hype button right now, because someone needs this word just as much as you did. Let your hype be a shout of faith that says, God is greater than my storm. And don't forget to hit like, because every action pushes this message into another life, another storm, another soul that needs the truth you just received. Declare it in the comments right now. God is greater than my storm, and I trust Him for the impossible. Let your comment be your public declaration of faith. Let the devil hear it. Let your storm hear it. Let heaven seal it. And if you have a specific prayer request, drop it below. We're not just a channel. We're a prayer family, and we will lift you up with power and faith. You are not alone. There's a remnant rising, those who refuse to face life without God's voice. If you're one of them, subscribe today. Then,